everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Cooking with Nichole. Tonight we are going to do keto blueberry muffins. Now, I know about 2 or 3 weeks ago I made mini blueberry cheesecakes, and I thought at the time that it was going to be a great replacement for a blueberry muffin. Well, they turned out to be little mini cheesecakes, and they were amazing and rave reviews from all. Tonight, I actually did find a blueberry muffin recipe, and so I follow this gal on Pinterest, and her blog site is All Day I Dream About Food, and she's a great low-carb keto blogger. She makes a lot of amazing things, and so if you want to follow another individual who also has a lot of great recipes, check her out as well. I don't know her name, but her site is All Day I Dream About Food, and her recipes are always spot on awesome. So tonight we're going to use 2.5 cups of almond flour. We have 3 eggs, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 of a cup of sweetener. Now I'm again using the monk fruit sweetener, but you can use any type of granulated sweetener. Another popular one that's easy to find out on the market is the Swerve granulated sweetener. It doesn't matter. And then 1/2 cup of fresh blueberries. So we're going to incorporate all together in our mixing bowl here, and then pour it into our muffin pan that I've already put the little liners in. And we pop it in the oven, and we're going to bake it at 325 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Your oven temperature is going to vary, of course. Ours runs a little hotter, so it tends to be just a little bit less time in general. So that's what we're going to do. That's the plan of course of action. One of the things to note as there's no oil that you're noting here, there's no butter. This is probably one of the first recipes I've used in the last 4 weeks that doesn't actually have butter in it. But what we're using to combine is the Too Good yogurt. And this is probably the lowest in net carb yogurt out on the market in our immediate area, in the Fargo-Moorhead immediate area. You might be able to find it, it's a national brand of course, so you're going to be able to find it anywhere. But I love this yogurt. It's got a great flavor, great consistency. For this whole entire container, it is only 3 grams of carbohydrate or 0.6 teaspoons of sugar, and it has about 12 grams of protein in it. And so for those that are looking for the best kind of yogurt, because I know a lot of my patients like to have yogurt and they feel like they miss out on it because they don't feel they can eat it, because quite honestly most yogurts are chock full of sugar. Get the squeezy type of yogurt that your kids like. Oh, what is that stuff? Go-gurt. Get that stuff out of the house. That is pure sugar that your children are sucking on. There's no fiber, there's no protein. All it is sugar. That is not something that we need to be eating, and it's a big problem for the amount of sugar that we're eating in our life. Did you know back in the early 1900s, average consumption of sugar per person per year was around 2 pounds of sugar? Now in 2020 or 2019, the latest statistic is per person we're eating over 100 pounds of sugar a year. Yeah, that's not a mistake. 2 pounds, 100 pounds. That's a big deal. And we wonder why, as a country, we're seeing so much heart disease, so much diabetes, and a lot of other problems, infertility, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and wildly high amounts of inflammation floating around in our body. And it's the fuel that we're putting into our body, folks. And so keep that in mind, that you only want to put the best fuel into your tank, and it is not processed and simple sugars. So be a good consumer of the products that you're buying. The Too Good yogurt is the one that we're using tonight. This is the lowest in sugar that I know about. Another awesome brand is the 000 Oikos yogurt. That's another good one. It's under 10 grams of carbohydrate. I think it's like 1.8 teaspoons of sugar and 15 grams of protein. And then the Dan and Leighton Fit Greek yogurt is also a wonderful yogurt to use as well. 1.6 teaspoons of sugar, or about 7 grams of protein or net carb, and 12 grams of protein. So you can use any full fat Greek yogurt in this, but keep in mind, if you use something different than the Too Good, you're going to have to recalculate the nutrition facts that I'll give to you at the end of this presentation, because it's going to be a little different. This recipe is and the nutrition facts are going to be based off of the Too Good yogurt. So here we go. We've got our 2.5 cups of almond flour in our bowl here, and we're just going to scoop our yogurt out into that. There we go. And then we're going to put our 3 eggs, our 2 teaspoons of baking powder, this is what makes the muffins rise like a cake, and 1/4 of a cup of our sweetener, and then 1/2 of a teaspoon of our pure vanilla extract. There we go. And now we're just going to mix all of this up. Now, if you want, you can use your hand mixer if you want to mix it together really good. You can use a blender or a food processor if you really want to mix it up and make it a quick process. That would be another way of making this really quick, or you can simply hand stir it together. Again, I'm opting to kind of hand stir the mix, just for the fact that the mixer on film can be kind of noisy, and I want to save your hearing. Or if you happen to not be able to sleep at night and decide to watch my videos in the middle of the night, and you push the volume on and the mixer is going, and wake up your significant other, that wouldn't be good either. Be like, what are you watching? So we'll just hand mix things tonight. There we go, all good and mixed until all the little lumps and bumps are out of the batter. And now you're going to fold in the fresh blueberries. So this is 1/2 cup of fresh blueberries. If you don't have fresh blueberries and you want to use frozen blueberries, you certainly can use frozen blueberries. The muffin itself might be it might affect the consistency, and frozen blueberries tend to discolor the batter. It'll make it purplish, but if you don't care about that, then all the power to you. And so we're just going to use our 1/2 cup of fresh blueberries. Now, I love blueberries, but blueberries, of the more lower glycemic fruits, is one of the higher lower glycemic fruits. And so make sure that when you are consuming blueberries, or anything for that matter, that you observe some portion control. This 1/2 cup of blueberries that I just mixed in here are about 2.4 teaspoons of sugar, or that's roughly, let's see, 12. That would be 12 grams of net carb. And so that does play a role, and blueberries are super easy to get heavy-handed with, just to leave the pint out and start eating. And if you're not tracking your macros or portion controlling, that can definitely squash your day for sure. So just be aware of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this batter and fill our muffin cups up 3/4 of the way so that it has room to rise. Again, popping it in the oven at 325, and we're going to bake it for about 25 minutes or so. We'll bring you back when they're all said and done. Hope you guys have a good evening, and this is your sweet deal for the day.